Okay, then I love the rule of let's go for it on 4th and 15 from the 25. I love it. You know, some coaches are going to. We spoke to Frank Reich about it on Friday, and we said, you know, his former boss in Philly, Doug Peterson, is our guess as the first coach to do it while up in a game to steal a second possession in the same manner that we're seeing so many coaches go for 2 when they're up 7 instead of just adding on the extra point to make it 8, forcing another team to go for 2 to try and tie a game. They're going for 2 to go up 9. It's just one play from the 2-yard line. Someone's going to do the math and figure out going for it up makes sense. Is that the unintended consequence you're talking about? What unintended consequence did you refer to earlier about that from what you're hearing?
Yeah, so one head coach actually kind of laid this out for me over the weekend where so, you know, say you score, say you score the go-ahead touchdown and you're up and there's like 10 seconds left, right? And you got to kick off to the other team. Could you run a 4th and 15 play on the last play of the game, snap the ball, run around for 10 seconds, and the game's over? You know, so there's sort of some circumstances there where you could sort of use that play in a way it's not intended to be used. Where, I mean, look, it's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? But that isn't really the way, that's not really why you're putting the rule in. And so there are some circumstances here. Like that was why it was suggested at one point, maybe this should only be allowed if you're ahead or if you're behind and not if you're ahead. So there are certain kinks in the rule that I think that they'd have to work out and that are probably going to get brought up on this conference call. But look, the bottom line in here is, you know, Rich, they've identified the onside kick as a very dangerous play, right? And we know, like, owners, because of everything they went through with the concussion litigation and everything else, they don't like to go backwards on health and safety matters. And if you're viewing this as a health and safety matter, it's going to be voted on that way. I think it probably goes through. And I mean, credit to the Eagles too for coming up with a fun solution that could kind of add a different wrinkle to the game in the end. And so, yeah, I mean, there are unintended consequences, and you know, I think that the one of being the team that's ahead and using it as a way to like drain the clock, like that could be an issue. But I don't think it's anything that's horrible.
I don't know. I mean, going for it 4th and 15, and that from what I could read in the rule, if there's a holding penalty on that play, you still have to go for it on 4th and 25.
Right.
You can't just say, we'll kick it. Now we're going to kick it. You can't do that. The minute you go for it from 4th and 5th, there's a huge risk. I mean, any penalty means that you have to try it again from longer away.
Sure.
You know, I mean, that's something.
Not only that, Rich, but you'd be like, so say you have that holding penalty. Now it's 4th and 25 from the 15.
Yeah.
Well, you know, now the other team gets possession at the 15 if you throw an incomplete pass.
Right.
You just run the ball there because you're like, we have to like push them a little further out. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much strategy involved in that part of it. It should be really interesting.
I know. So, you know, if somebody who's up wants to mess around to try and steal a possession or, you know, run some clock, I mean, there's a lot of risk before that reward would hit. So and that's why I love it, because the onside kick, it's just, you know, certainly under the new player safety rules, which I have no problem with, it makes it even more difficult to convert. And then the number of times that the reason why it works isn't because the kicker made such a great swing of the leg that the ball pops in the air and it's great. It just means somebody else screwed up because it's a total scramble play, and you're just hoping that somebody else screws up. And it's, you know, I know it's been that way for 100 years, but.
I mean, the bottom line is they not just onside kicks, the kickoff in general has sort of been, I think, in peril for the last 10 years because of everything we've learned about like the dangers of it and everything else. And you know, I think like finding, you know, fun ways to make the play to preserve the play, I think are good. And this, you know, could wind up being a way to preserve the play long term. You know, and like I said, like the XFL and you know, God rest their soul, but the XFL, their solution to the kickoff, to the kickoff situation, I thought was a really good one. Like, and I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's something the NFL should steal. And so there's no question. I mean, they've been sort of working on trying to fix the kickoff from a health and safety standpoint forever. And this would add a really, really interesting piece of strategy to the game.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.